Yes, we can hear you. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the last case of the meeting, VSD closure. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Mario Caminati because he is for us a life guide, so no, not a guide wire, of course. He is for us like a mythological figure that we try to follow every day. So this is my pleasure to introduce you Damien Kenny from Dublin. And we are here with Lucien Piazza, our techs, our nurses. And I would ask to Carmelo to present the case. Please, Carmelo.
Hello, everyone. So let's move on to the case of a ventricular septal defect. This is a 6.5-year-old girl with an uneventful past history. She was found to have a murmur as a neonate, and she had a diagnosis of muscular ventricular septal defect. She progressively developed signs of left ventricular volume overload. The ECG is unremarkable, and so it is the chest X-ray. But since she's developed signs of dilatation of the left ventricle, she was put on ACE inhibitors. The echo shows, as you can see, there is a high muscular VSD with a decent aortic margin. There is actually some aneurysm attempting to close the VSD, but the size is pretty reasonable, like we have a 5 millimeters. And with the high velocity left to right shunt, there is no aortic valve dysfunction. There is moderate dilatation of the left ventricle. You can see also on transthoracic 3D how distant is the VSD from the aortic valve. So we think that this is a good case for a percutaneous VSD closure. And let's move on to show you some pictures. If we go live to the transesophageal pictures, to the echo pictures. Okay, so I'll show you some pictures of the VSD that I took before. We have this transverse cut, like short axis cut. You see the aneurysm, a little fibrous aneurysm of tissue attempting to close the defect. We have high velocity left to right shunt. We took some accurate measurements. The defect actually measures about 7 millimeters on the LV end, and it tapers down to 5 millimeters on the RV. You can see here there's a good aortic margin. Well, decent. I would say about 4 or 5 millimeters of distance to the plane of the aortic valve.
Okay.
And let me just quickly show you some 3D pictures, 3D transesophageal pictures. Here we are on the LV side. You can see the plane of the aortic valve here, and that's the defect. Pretty round, a bit oval in shape, with good margins all over. And let's get a close-up view.
Okay, thank you, Carmelo. Very nice pictures.
Yeah.
So that's the. So, Damien, do you want to do some comments?
Yeah.
About
so,
this defect?
Fabio, it's a real pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me.
You.
And Shaq, could you maybe let us know who's on the panel with you?
So I've got the bodyguard with me, Gregor, and Federico Gutierrez Marais.
Great. So.
There's a lot of audience still here, which is amazing, isn't it, for the last session?
It is fantastic.
They've got nothing better to do.
It's not lost on me, though, that this is the nightmare case session, and this is the last case of the meeting. So hopefully we won't contribute to that in any way. So Fabio's done all the hard work. He did a hemodynamic study and showed a QP/QS of 2.1 to 1. And we've shot some angiography as well, and we can show you that.
Next.
So I don't know if you can see those angiograms. There's a biplane LV angiogram showing a well-circumscribed high muscular VSD with left to right flow across it, and we did some measurements on that. It corresponded pretty well with the echo measurements that Carmelo's got. We also did an aortogram.
What did you make the
About 5 millimeters, Shaq.
Okay.
Le misure.
And we did an aortogram. I think that's probably a little bit of an underestimate. I think it's around about 5.
Yeah.
We did an aortogram as well, just to confirm there was no aortic valve involvement, but I think it's pretty clear from the echo and from the morphology of the defect that's unlikely. So I suppose maybe just to put it to get a little bit of discussion, maybe you could ask the panel and the audience how they'd approach this. I think we have indications to close here, but two questions. How would you close it and what device or vice versa?
Okay. Federico, comment on how to approach this and what device to use?
I think we will have at least 2 devices that you can deploy there.
Approach from where?
From the right vertical.
Right ventricle. So anti-grade approach over a guide wire circuit. Gregor?
Our certain policy that we didn't include these kind of defects if they would not be approvable with the
Okay. Any other suggestions? I think from the weight point of view and the size of the VSD, it looks a suitable one for a retrograde arterial approach, and then it comes down to what is available. So you could use an ADO2, you could use, if you were doing an antigrade approach, an ADO1 would be fine. If you were doing a retrograde approach, I would tend to use a double disc, sort of ADO2, MFO, the Occlutech perimembranous VSD device. So there's plenty of choices depending on which approach you plan.
Great, and I think they're all very valid, Shaq and the rest of the gang. We feel that probably a retrograde approach might be suitable here. It's certainly a little bit simpler. So maybe we'll just show the next angiogram. We took a 5 French Judkins right with an 035 Terumo. The defect was reasonably easy to cross. I think sometimes we use a glide cat, the 4 French glide cat's a little bit softer, but it was reasonably easy with the 5 French Judkins right. And you can see there with the Terumo across and then a little bit of clockwise rotation, the catheter's down in the right ventricle. And we were able to confirm that. I think Carmelo will be able to show you actually in the long axis view the catheter crossing the defect into the right ventricle. And we have a pressure measurement confirming that we're in the right ventricle with the RV pressure, which is normal. So I suppose if we plan to go retrograde, all of those devices, obviously, if they're symmetric or not, really makes a difference in relation to which device choice if you're going retrograde. So we've decided to go with the MFO, as you'd mentioned, Shaq. So I suppose the next question would be, what size device would people think we should go with this particular defect?
Okay, so Federico, what size MFO device?
I'm not sure yet.
You're not sure yet. Gregor, if you were picking a device, based on the diameter of the VSD being about 4 to 5 millimeters.
I think I would go for 5, but this, again, as I said, not my big decision.
Yeah. I'd go up at least 1 millimeter more than your measurement, so it depends again on the size available, but something with a disc of 6 millimeters.
Yeah, so the MFO has a number of different sizes, and we can show you the sizing chart. We measured the LV entrance point at 7 millimeters and the RV entrance point at 5. And with the MFO, I suppose you can see the shape of it there. It is sort of like a PDA occluder with another symmetrical disc onto the end of it. We felt, based on the fact that this child is big enough to tolerate it, based on the sizing chart, and based on the fact that the 14 device or the 9.7 that you'll see there actually has some cloth within it, that might be more occlusive for us, and that really would fit with what we want to do. So we were thinking maybe the 9.7 or the 14 is the sort of big D diameter of that, and I think we are enough distance away from the aortic valve that shouldn't be a problem for us.
So the 14 device has the waist. There are 2 areas, aren't there? So what are those diameters?
So we'll show you if I get it. If I get it, here we go.
That sounds a little bit big to me, but go ahead.
Yeah. So we'll see here. Here's the D1, which is the symmetrical disc diameter here, is 14 on this device. You can see that. The length of the waist is 4
I'm
millimeters.
looking at the wrong 14, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So this one here. So this is the 9.7 device with the 14 disc. It's advised for defects around about 5 to 6 millimeters. And the nicer thing about this device is that it has actually cloth within it. So hopefully the occlusive nature of the device will be greater maybe than a slightly smaller device, which will be or would be deliverable through a slightly smaller sheet.
Okay.
Does that seem reasonable enough?
What size sheets have you got in there?
Well, we haven't put the sheet in yet because we were waiting. Obviously, we have a sheet in the groin. It's a 5 French, so we'll need to upsize to a 6 French sheet. So one of the challenge.
Let's keep you moving.
Yeah, one of the challenges we have with so this is a standard 035 exchange wire with a J tip on it. And if you see, we're down in the right ventricular apex now. So one of the challenges we had was the delivery system with the MFO has quite a curve on it, and it's like a 180-degree curve, and I'm not sure this would be nice for what we want to achieve here. So we'll just pop our exchange wire out like this, come out. I'll give to Fabio.
If you want.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay. And so we're going to use a 6 French sheet. We're going to use a flexor sheet. We often use a destination sheet, but there's only a 7 French 45 destination here. So I think that might be too short and maybe is a bit bigger than we need as well.
Yep.
Okay, so
Sorry, so which sheet are you going to use?
so we're using a 6 French, 90 centimeter long flexor sheet. I just need to take the sheet out, Fabio.
Okay.
This was the only one we had. So, but it'll go through a 6 French sheet. And as I said, normally we like the flexors, the Terumo flexor sheets. You know, they come in sort of 60, 65 centimeters, and I think that would have been ideal. But we only have a 7 French 45, so I think that's a little bit too big and too short.
And normal heparinization,
Yep.
no particular
Fully heparinized.
Sorry.
So you got that?
Yep. Got it.
Okay. A little bit of tension going around there now.
around 4 people. Okay. So it just will educate somebody for the rest of you.
Maybe what we'll do now is I'll go in a little bit further. And if you hold the dilator and I'll advance the sheet
Yep.
over.
Yep.
Okay. Just a little bit of tension on the wire,
Yep.
just to get us through there. Is that us back, Carmela? Have we? No, it's just come down into the apex a little bit. Okay, so
So
Yep.
that's gone across pretty smoothly, isn't it?
yeah, it has. So what we're going to do is, this is a little technique that I suppose Kevin has suggested, is that we're just going to leave the wire in place while we de-air this, because sometimes, you know, coming retrograde, it sticks up against the wall and it's a pain, and you're pulling back and then you come across the defect. So we'll leave the wire in until we're fully de-aired here. And that looks good. So we'll just tighten this. In fact, we can leave that wire there for a second because it's a J-tip wire, it's nice and soft, and we'll take this off. So we'll go and show you the device, load the device, and hopefully go and close this.
Just out of interest, whilst you've got the sheet across, Carmelo, can you show us the color echo?
The color, yeah.
Can we open the...
Yeah. If I put some color on, there's still some shunt.
Yeah.
I think the color is a little bit more, I mean, the fact that the kid has QPQS at 2.1 to 1 and a little bit of left heart dilation shack, I think the color suggests this is a reasonable sized hole, but I hope this device will be suitable.
That's what I wanted to check. You know, sometimes you come
Yeah.
across all
Camera here.
the sheets across and there's no flow, so
Camera here.
this is reassuring.
Okay, now how we load this is important.
Okay, let's zoom in on your hands here.
Okay, can we see that device? So here's the...
Zoom a bit more. Yeah, that's it. Now
Oh.
we see it.
Okay, so it's a symmetrical device. So the disc on this side,
Just move your right hand towards the camera. That's it.
so the disc on this side and on this side are the same size. And then you've got that inverted top hat type morphology to it, where with this 9.7 device, this bit here will be 7 and the bit up towards the disc is 9. And obviously you can put it in both.
In this one then, Damien, just to clarify, what is the diameter of that weight at either end of it?
Four-
Not the disc, but the weight.
14, Shaq.
No, the weight
Oh, so the waist is 7 at the right ventricular aspect and 9 towards the left ventricular aspect.
Okay. Yeah,
And
that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yeah. And you can see there's some cloth in that. I don't know whether you can see that. That doesn't exist in the smaller devices. So this has a little bit of cloth to augment the occlusive properties of this. And as you can see, it's designed to be deliverable either through the arterial side or deliverable both from the vein and from the artery, so retrograde or antegrade. And I think it's important how we put this on because we're going to be delivering it from the artery or retrograde. We want the conical shape of the device to fit into the defect because it is conical in its or funnel shaped in its appearance. So we'll screw the device on this way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
So you're going to have that twist more towards the left ventricle, is that correct?
Yeah, so it basically...
There's that twist in the, between the waist and your left-hand disc.
So this disc will be the right disc. This disc will be the left disc.
Okay.
And then that's... Okay?
Okay, I thought you were going to do a novel method for a minute.
No. So we'll just pop this on now. This is where you tease me about the shake in my hand, Jack.
Yes, from last night.
Well, actually, I was good last night. Okay. So we'll just load this. Now, and then we'll flush it. I'll get you, Fabi, maybe to hold that for me.
Yep.
Can you guys see that? Just standard stuff. Just pop it down in there.
Yeah.
And we'll lock it again. All right. Let's bring that over, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so Carmelo is the chief now. He's the most important person in the room because he's going to tell us whether we've done a good job or not.
Kind.
Okay, so actually the wires come back a little bit. That's okay. I think our sheath is still pretty
Yeah, it's well in place.
pretty okay.
Yeah, pretty okay, yeah.
And we've got a reasonable bit of bleed back on that, so that's okay too. So Fabi, you'll just give me a little bit of... You just give me a bit of a flush there as we go through here.
Flush.
Yeah, we'll just see now. This is a little bit, this is not the system that this is designed to come with. So it does mean that we may have a little bit of difficulty crossing here.
Any resistance at the...
A little bit.
Yeah.
So we might
Do
have
you
to
want
do...
to take out the...
What's
it's
this?
done, and then we can...
Yeah, coming through here. We'll try and just go through it directly here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So why don't I... And this is where I suppose the sheath is important coming through the system. So let's flush it again.
Yep.
Okay, and let's just see by jamming it in here whether that'll be better. And that goes a little bit better.
Okay.
Now, what we'll do is we might just take that off the end. We'll take the screw off the end. We'll put the TUI bores back on so that Fabio didn't have his Weetabix. Does it not come off?
Yep.
Ah,
Okay.
okay. So we'll advance this just a little bit more. I know, what we'll do is I'll take this off
yeah.
first because we don't
Yeah,
need
yeah.
this one now.
You're
Yeah.
right.
That's often a problem, isn't it? Mismatch of the device versus the sheath up.
Yeah.
Here to you.
So it means hopefully when we deploy we won't have too much bleeding. Okay. You can leave it bleed back a little bit. Let's see how we're looking. We'll go around. It's not the most radiopaque of devices as all of these newer type devices are. Now again, when we get around to this area, we want to make sure that we're in a good position and we're not protruding out into the right ventricle. So, Carmelo, you're okay there?
Yeah, I'm fine. I
I'm
just checked the tricuspid valve.
You think I have enough room to deploy here? And
I
not-
think so. I think you
Okay.
have plenty of room.
Okay, so if you do my hands and then fluoro and echo. Is that okay?
Just for reassurance, then,
Yeah.
Carmelo, show us the tricuspid valve.
Yeah. In a moment. Yeah, I actually checked it before, and it's working fine. There's no regurgitation as you see there.
Okay,
All right. Sorry. Carry on.
so what we're going to do is pop out the what's going to be the right ventricular disc just by coming back a little bit. I don't want to protrude it out, and I think we have a bit of room. You see that's out there. And then what we'll do is we'll pull back a little bit on the device. Could have made a better nick in the groin, but anyway. So I just look at mostly on echo on this really now. And a little bit of back pressure. And I think you can see already it's starting to form as it's, and Carmelo, can you put some color on that now? Of course. So one of the things is obviously ensuring that you don't distort the aortic valve here. So we'll try and push this out and make sure we're away from the aortic valve, but I'm hopeful that'll be the case. Okay?
Still a little bit of shunting.
Yeah, I'm hopeful we've only the RV disc out yet, so.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and then what I'm going to do is push and just deploy the device like that and see how it looks.
Your floor, please.
That looks good. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Because really what you want to do is have that weight part within the defect.
Yeah, so I think it is in the defect. Obviously, because we're coming at this somewhat angulated retrograde, there's a little bit of tension on the LV aspect of the disc. And the most important thing now, I think, is to make sure that we're not impinging on either the aortic or, I think, less likely the tricuspid valve.
What I'm checking now, the aortic valve, doesn't seem to be any significant regurgitation at this stage. Only a tiny bit because of the tension of the structure.
And maybe you could just show us on short axis view as well, Carmelo?
Short axis.
Yeah, there's still a bit of obviously backward tension on this, and you can even see it fluoroscopically that disc is distorted somewhat. It is one of the challenges of putting it in retrograde. The tricuspid.
So at what stage do you test just to make sure that the device configures push it away from the aortic valve or push downwards?
Well, I think the problem, I think the problem pushing downwards on it now, Shaq, and I'll show you live fluoro or even do a cine. Which one is cine? Is it this one?
Yeah, cine, yeah.
Yeah. So if we do cine, what you'll see is, do you see, because of the fact of the cable and how it's coming at, the hope is that when you release this, that will pop back down and it'll be more aligned. Yeah.
We can do an angio if you want them.
Yeah. Should we do an angiogram now? Would you like to see an angio? Again, one of the challenges with the retrograde approach is that you need, well, if you want to do an angiogram, which you don't have to, we can pop it out a little bit more, is that Fabio was kind enough to have a second arterial access for us already in place. So
Oh, he was thinking ahead.
Just come back a little bit with the wire. He was, but he gave me a J-tip wire for this. Oh, that's all right. Just pull back with the wire a little bit.
Right.
Thanks so much. And okay, try it now. Just see if it'll go. Is it going okay?
Yep.
All right.
Push you a little bit, Damien.
Yeah.
Because of time.
Sure. Okay, let's see if we can just get this across. One across now.
And it's typical when you want to get across.
I know. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at angio.
518, yeah, it's okay.
And should we do a little bit more cranial on the, will that be in your way, Carmelo, if we do that?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
Pay attention, Carmelo.
Okay. Make sure everything is tight. Wouldn't be nice to spray all my nice, friendly Italian colleagues with some contrast now, after all their hard work.
We can do a test. This is cine. Okay.
Okay. So we
can do a test.
We're good to go. Do you want to just, will we empty this?
Yeah. Don't mind. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, you're happy enough.
Flush.
Okay, great.
Stop.
That's great.
Do a test.
Okay, so just a quick test. Yep, test. Okay. All right, we're going to do an angio.
Okay, we are ready.
Yeah. So a little bit of a puff through it, but I think when we release that, it'll be okay. You guys?
Yeah, that's looking nice.
You guys happy enough?
Yes, I think so, Damien.
Okay, so let's, the problem is now we don't have our little screw mechanism, but Fabio, do you want to pop that back on? If you can, or else we'll use a, oh, there we go, that's nice.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So we're just going to release this now and see how it looks. Screwed it on well, didn't we? Yeah. Or else I'm not tight enough on this. Let's see.
Either that or you screwed it on too tight.
Yeah. Or else I've screwed
Is
this
it
on
well
not tight enough.
attached?
What's that?
Is it well attached?
Yeah, we'll just we'll screw this on a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if that is better. Yeah. Here we go. It doesn't want to release. Is it? Are you giving me positive vibes, Shaq?
Yes. Sometimes I use an RP forceps to clamp onto the
Yeah.
cable there and twist that.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we'll do because I don't think that's actually catching it as well as we should. Could we get an artery forceps? What's that?
Was it live?
I can try from the.
Yeah. Okay, so can I just have an artery forceps and we'll...
Abbiamo.
Sì, una pinza di...
Yeah, even this one here. That's great. Thank you. Okay, let's see if this will work better. Is everybody asleep there now yet? There
Oh,
we go.
right.
Yeah,
That's the biggest. Very good.
celebration
Thank you,
of the
Shaq.
day.
So photo, please.
Okay.
So this has got a very good RP forceps release mechanism, hasn't it?
Yeah, it does a little bit. It's when we take off that screw. See, we complicate it a little bit by not using the sheet that it comes with, but I think I'll show you the curve on it. It's not that nice. So it does complicate it a little bit, as you see, pushing the device through initially the sheet, and then with the release mechanism taking the screw mechanism off the end. But the device, I think, looks good. There's not much AR or not much residual leak. A whiff of AI
nothing
from
at
the
all.
other catheter that's across the valve.
Just the intraprocedural.
But I think it looks nice and
Looks very
profile
nice.
there. You
Yeah.
see the short axis view as
Yeah,
well.
the-
So Damien, last 2 minutes, if you could, do we need another angiogram or not?
I wouldn't.
Or do you rely on the echo?
I wouldn't normally do an angiogram now. I would be happy with the echocardiogram. I think we're giving extra contrast the patient doesn't need. I'm happy to do it if the
So
if
let's
the,
give Carmelo the last 2 minutes to show us the detailed echo. Oh, there's a question from Echo.
Please make sure that the pigtail is not
Trapped.
trapped by the device.
we
Yeah,
will do that.
thank you.
We'll do that after you go
Yeah.
offline.
All right,
So,
I'm-
Carmelo, yes.
I'm quite happy. As you can see, the profile of the device is excellent. There is hardly any, well, there's no aortic regurgitation at all, I would say, and there's actually hardly any residual leak. If I see it on short axis, it's basically same thing, and the
Looks good.
tricuspid valve looks good.
Okay.
Can try and,
Carmelo,
yeah.
thank you very much. Damien, are you going to remove the pigtail live or after?
Yeah. We'll do it. We'll do it live. Why not? Will you?
Yeah.
I was going to just pull it, but Fab was
Entered
giving
it.
me a wire, so why not? Let's do it properly. So look, just while we're doing this, thank you very much for the honor of being able to come and work with such a fantastic team and to be able to do a case. It's been a wonderful meeting, and I'm really honored to have been part of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Damien.
Fabio,
Thank you.
Lucien, and everybody, the whole team, you've been absolutely wonderful last few days. So congratulations to all of you, especially working on a Saturday as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to all of you.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
big hand once
Bye.
more for the Catalan team.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.